Have you ever wondered how to actually talk to your spirit guides? We focus a lot on listening or receiving their messages, but when students start to work with me, they'll say, wait a minute, how do I actually communicate with them? Communication is important, just as it is in every single relationship you have. We cannot assume that our guides know what we need. So, how do we actually get the messages and our thoughts to them? Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about inside of this episode. I'm going to be sharing with you ways to talk to your guides. So, stay tuned. Welcome to Spiritual and Ambitious. I'm your host, Whitney McNeill. I'm a certified medium and spiritual teacher, and I help spiritual and ambitious souls just like you live your life purpose through your career and attract abundance by connecting into your intuition and spirit guides. Let's get spiritual and ambitious. Before we dive into this episode, if you haven't yet signed up for one of my live Intuition and Spirit Guide Masterclasses, I highly recommend it. This will really help you kickstart your intuition and give you a plan on how to connect with your spirit guides. And you can do that over at messengerspirit.com/class. Okay, so let's talk about some of the ways you can actually talk to your spirit guides. Now, one way is pretty obvious, and I do this at the beginning of the episode. You can actually talk to your spirit guides through tools, so spiritual tools such as pendulums or oracle cards. And you probably know I have an oracle card deck that I'm just so excited about. And one of the cards I've pulled for you today, so if you're listening to this, no matter what time it is when you've caught this episode, it is the Inspired Action card. It comes with the number 7. 7's a very spiritual number, and it's take inspired action now. So if you're listening and you haven't signed up for that masterclass, go ahead and do it. This is that inspiration that hits, and we can just kind of drag it out. Maybe we're dragging it out and we're not doing what we're being kind of led to do from our intuition because we feel like we have all these excuses as to why. So this is your message to take inspired action right now. So that's actually a little bonus way that you can talk to your spirit guides. But you know, I'm all about you talking to your spirit guides and understanding your intuition without necessarily kind of being stuck on tools. I want you to be able to have that clarity with your guides. So it's this back and forth conversation. And one way to talk to your spirit guides is literally talking to them out loud. So communication's a two-way street. You have to listen. That's part of communicating. And you also have to talk or communicate some way, right? So like you're doing the output and you're also receiving the input. But I want to talk about the output. What do? Well, talk to them. Just like you're hearing me, how I'm speaking, talk to your guides out loud. I actually feel like it gives your messages and your communication with them more power because you're speaking it out loud. Literally, you're manifesting it. So you're taking your thoughts and you are speaking it. So that's something that you can do to really communicate. So when I talk to my guides, I'll say, welcome to my meeting here. Thank you. I have this whole process that I take my students in 4 intuitive languages through, but really I'm going to say thank you. I'm so grateful for you. And here is what I would like some help with, or here's what I'd like to talk about. Sometimes my students say, Whitney, I don't know what to ask them. Like, what am I even going to ask them for help with? Well, I want you to over communicate with your guides. Tell them everything that's going on. So if you need help in your business, tell them you need help with your business. And specifically, what about it? What would you like some answers from or with? So talking out loud, just like I am doing right now. And sometimes you think, well, that sounds really great, but I actually live with people and I haven't quite come out of the spiritual medium or intuitive kind of closet here. And I need to actually not do that, Whitney? What else do I do? Okay. So the second thing is you can communicate with them through your inner reading voice. So what that means is you can talk to them through your inner reading voice with the intention that they hear it. This is one of the biggest misconceptions I see, is that people think that your spirit guides just know what you want and can read your mind, or, they know what I've been thinking about. They know what I've been worrying about. No, they don't. If you haven't given them permission to hear what's going on, and you actually have to set the intention that they do hear it. So they can't really just tap into whatever you're thinking. One, they're ethical, so they're not going to do it. And even if you gave them permission, it doesn't have the right energy for them to pick up on it with your inner reading voice. So if you're sitting there thinking about all the things you have to do and worrying, it's kind of like a crapshoot, to be honest. Your spirit guides are going to be like, oh, is this the message? Oh, is this the message? What is it? So think about a relationship that you have in your life. You cannot just assume that the other person knows what's going on in your mind, how you're feeling, what's going on in your thoughts process, what they say about assuming. So don't do it. It's more of, okay, I'm going to set my intention to actively talk to my guides, and I'm going to really set the intention and put energy behind it that they are going to be able to pick up on this message, this communication that I'm giving specifically to my spirit guides. So this happens a lot when people are in close quarters with others. This happens if you are needing to talk to your guides, kind of in a, I got to talk to him now moment, whether you're traveling in a car, airplane, whatever it is. This is a way that you can talk to your guides. I like to talk to them out loud. I feel like it really helps me organize my thoughts, but I feel like there's power behind it. There's more energy behind it. And sometimes I'm tired. I don't want to speak. It's too much energy. So I'll say, all right, I'm going to call my spirit guides and teachers, and I'm going to do this with my inner reading voice because I don't really have the energy right now to actually communicate it with my physical body. So you can do one of those. And remember, I also said that you can communicate with tools, but I have 2 other ways to talk to your spirit guides, and we are going to hear more about it when we come back after this really quick break. Have you always wondered if you had intuitive ability, or you would love to connect to spirit so you can receive more guidance for your personal life and for your business? Maybe you have always dreamed of even giving messages to others, or you might be at a place where you're like, I'm just really curious. I want to learn more, and I need to know how my spirit guides actually give me the messages and how to listen. Well, I want to invite you to my live Intuition and Spirit Guide Masterclass. This is going to be a live class with me where I will be teaching you the steps that you need to talk to your spirit guides, and also give you insight into how you can start unlocking your intuition. So choose the date that works best for you. And again, this is going to be live. Go to messengerofspirit.com/class, and I will see you there. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Let's talk about 2 other ways to talk to your spirit guides. One way is through writing. This is very powerful because you're also manifesting your thought into the physical reality. So, literally writing. When I was looking for additional spirit guides to help me with my mediumship, when you are a medium, you get extra spirit guides. When you start working with me through intuition, so if you sign up for my course, you'll know that you get some additional spirit guides that help you with intuition. But when you do mediumship, you actually get guides to help you with your readings. So I was, let's say, in the market for additional spirit guides. I literally wrote out an employment want ad. I said, these are the qualities that I want. These are the positions that I'm filling. And I would like for my spirit guides to help find additional guides for XYZ. you can actually do this if you're looking for additional spirit guides in your business or in your healing practice, things like that. Oftentimes they show up before you even need to ask. And know your spirit guides who are personal to you, normally they don't change. Some do. But when you come into a place of a need, like in a specific example would be doing readings, I wanted to have a spirit that would help my clients receive messages from loved ones in spirit. So that's a loved one in spirit specialist that I was writing out, but I was writing out others too. So talking to your own spirit guides in your meetings can be really great, but also doing writing. You could even take meeting notes. So I tell all my students to talk to their spirit guides 5 to 15 minutes each day. And you can do this out loud in your inner reading voice, or you can also write it down. This is very helpful. And when you're writing and communicating with your guides, you're putting more power because you are literally manifesting it into the physical reality. And one of the things that you can do is just say, I'm inviting my spirit guides to read this writing. Now, what's really cool is that if you want to develop one of the abilities, the mediumship abilities that you have, you can also receive messages through writing. So in my Four Intuitive Languages program, I actually have a module, a training on automatic and inspirational writing. This is how beautiful books are written, poetry, songs, things like that. When I was a teenager, I used to sit and channel and write these poems or these messages that I needed to hear or that I felt I needed to express to the entire world. And when I would read what I wrote, it was definitely not from me. Words were spelled differently, even. And spirit was communicating through me this way. Automatic writing is completely different than inspirational writing. By the way, inspirational writing is spirit kind of writing through you. And automatic writing is more of a physical mediumship where spirit's just literally moving your body to write. So it's a little different. I won't get too far into that today. And if you are one of my students, you can take that module inside of Four Intuitive Languages. But understanding that you can actually express to them through writing, and they can also express back to you through writing as well. I literally wrote my high school graduation speech from spirit. And it was so easy. There were words I did not even know the meaning to. I had to look up. Anyway, you can actually call on a spirit guide to help you with that too. The last way that I'm going to mention today on how to talk to your spirit guides is through dreams. You can talk to your guides through dreams. And really, to be honest, they're not dreams. They're actually astral visits. So before you go to sleep, if you want to intentionally talk to your spirit guides, you can ask them to take you on an astral visit. And if you've got something that's really stuck and like, I just don't know what the next answer is, I need some extra help here, you can actually ask your guides to give you the answers. And you could say, hey, can we go on an astral travel tonight? And can you give me answers onto what I need to do to shift this situation? Can we have a conversation about this? And they will. They'll talk to you. Now, I'd say about 85% of the time, people will not remember their astral visits, but doesn't really matter. Because when they come back, they'll have some extra knowledge or they'll feel like some sort of situation has been resolved. And I think that's really beautiful. I love utilizing astral visits with my guides, and I love utilizing all these other ways when I'm feeling stuck. I will literally say, hey, I can't get this to shift. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I've done everything I need to do, and I've taken inspired action. So I'm going to write this down. And I'm going to put this piece of paper right here on my desk. And sometimes I'll even put a crystal on top of it. And I'll say, can you please handle this? Can you please take care of this situation? I'm going to leave it in your hands. And what's really interesting is I will often find that, yes, in fact, it has been taken care of at some point. It might not happen in the timeline I think it needs to happen because my ego wants it to happen a certain way. and in a certain time. But my spirit guides are like, hey, we got this. Like, you've done everything you can do. We'll take care of it. So astral travel is really helpful, and you can do this to visit your loved ones, and you can do this to work on some inner lessons. I, right now, as I'm recording, have been on astral visits where I've been seeing snippets of my past or meeting people from my past. And it's not a logical thing where I think about this stuff all the time. Spirit is bringing to light different scenarios for me to heal, which is great. We store a lot of stuff in our energy and we need to shift it and we need to heal it. So astral travel is amazing. I keep saying I'm going to record a podcast episode on it, and I will, but this is one of the ways you can talk to your guides. And this is especially helpful if you feel like you are not receiving any messages. There's so many reasons why you might feel like that, but one of them could be, hey, you know what? I'm blocking it. I need to communicate in the astral plane. The astral plane is where we feel safe. We feel used to dreaming, which a lot of our dreams are actually astral travels or astral visits. So it's just an easy way to get you the messages. All right, this was a quick episode for you, and I do hope to see you inside of my free live Intuition and Spirit Masterclass. And if you would like to get your hands on your copy of the Messenger of Spirit Oracle cards, I'll drop it in the show notes for you. And I cannot wait to help you connect more fully to your guides and your intuition. I will see you next week with a brand new episode. But until then, here's to staying spiritual and ambitious. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you loved it, would you please share it with a friend? I would also love your review and a reminder to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find me at messengerofspirit.com, and you can take the 4 Intuitive Languages quiz and find show notes there too. If you want to connect on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can find me at Messenger of Spirit. If you want to continue the conversation, join my free Facebook group at messengerofspirit.com/group. I'll meet you right here next week. Here's to staying spiritual and ambitious.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.